Okay, so I guess maybe take me through the project, maybe starting from where did you get the idea?
Okay, this idea, before I start graduate school, this was the original idea that I had, and I was planning to write a book on this subject as my dissertation. But at that time it was not that easy to write it, for political reasons, a book of that sort. So I changed my mind and I wrote my first book on a different subject, on Kurds, that one there.
So this book was in the whims waiting.
Yes, and I was just trying to collect things. So the completion of this book took over 10 years.
Over 10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
This was a pet project. I mean, I was always thinking to write something, and I was adding to it, but meantime I was focusing on my first book. Yeah. That came.
And what was the point at which you realized that this could occur, this could come to fruition? I mean, after 10 years of research, there was a moment where you were like, okay, I can do this, it's ready.
I have actually written certain chapters of it during that time as conference papers. Mm-hmm. And then I got feedbacks from colleagues, so all I had to do is to write one more chapter and put all these things together in a very cohesive way to connect the other things that I have done, and then incorporate those feedbacks that I received from my colleagues.
Okay.
I start working on that, I would say, 2008. So it took me 2 years to, well, it took me 1 year to complete everything, but then you send it to the publisher. And
a lot of writing studies scholars believe that texts are connected to each other and are dependent on other texts, like we call that intertextuality. Can you speak to that connection?
Yes, well, I mean, once you start writing something like this, in the introduction you have to set the scene. You have to talk about the available scholarship and where this particular book fits in, where is the gap and how this covers that hole. So you have to basically talk about what the previous scholarship talk about, what evidence they found, and why this book is important, or why is your paper important, why should people read it, what original data you are, or interpretation. Something has to be original for a monograph to happen, otherwise you have the textbooks. So most students confuse the two. Monographs are making original arguments. Textbooks are basically, they're collecting what's available and telling the story. So if you wanna, and then you have to talk about that thing right in the beginning, placing your book in the current scholarship, and that's called literature survey,
or literature review, or something.
Literature review.
Similar.
So, and then you can say, well, there is this book on the similar subject, but they don't talk about this, or they don't come to the same conclusion. So you have to say why your work is unique.